Welcome to the divisional round. Mat Mlodzinski, Jackson Roberts. Just waiting to get his video on here. But the Bills and the Chiefs are the game of the day, really the game of the weekend in the NFL. They saved the best for last, really, in the NFL playoffs here in this round. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, round 3. That's what's in store. Jackson, are you with us?
I am. Looks like my camera might be giving us a little bit of a issue here, but nonetheless, the show goes on in the Bills media room right across the way from Highmark Stadium. I mean, Matt, you said it, man. This is it. This is where this is the kind of game champions are made in. Buffalo, Kansas City, we know what's happened the last 2 times these teams have played in the postseason. The last one was just epic. The 4 lead changes in the final 2 minutes. And here we are, another chance to make history tonight.
100%. That's the perfect setup. Obviously, hopefully, we can get your video working. If we can't, though, still the same. Love to hear your insight, and we're going to hear a lot of insight from the Bills players as well. But obviously, just to set things, the Ravens winning yesterday. So if the Bills do win tonight, they will be in Baltimore for the AFC Championship game. They know that, so they know what they are playing for. And obviously, 2 wins away from potentially making it to a 5th Super Bowl in franchise history. Your initial thoughts on what they need to do, at least today, to start to get there. Obviously, you can't look ahead to Baltimore too much yet. They got to get past the Chiefs first, and then for the people listening at home, watching at home, make sure to put your comments in what you think the Bills are going to do. We're going to take those throughout the show.
Yeah, I think the first thing is you got to stop Isaiah Pacheco. He's been such a big weapon for the Chiefs this year. Of course, Travis Kelce, that's the big thing right there. Mahomes and Kelce, when they get on the same page, they are lethal. Anybody will have trouble against them. And, Matt, I'm really interested to see what this injury report looks like for the Bills, for the Chiefs. Looks like, from some social media video we saw before, Terrell Bernard walking in through the tunnel at Highmark Stadium, limping a little bit, maybe just from the looks of it. Of course, he's officially questionable. We'll see how that goes. We'll see who else that was questionable, as we've been reporting throughout the whole week, could be a go. We'll see if there are some guys who aren't a go. We know a few have been ruled out already. So, really, you talk about the next man up mentality. If ever a game where you need it, obviously a win-or-go-home game. So you need guys to step up. You got to stop Pacheco. You got to stop Kelce. You got to put pressure on Mahomes. That's really when Buffalo has had some success against him, is when they're able to collapse the pocket quickly.
Yeah, if they can do that, obviously they could be in for, at least a good afternoon in Highmark Stadium. Obviously, the Chiefs are a great team as well, and the Chiefs have had trouble with their receivers this year. So it becomes a little bit more even now that there are injuries on the Bills side. Obviously, though, it seems like Buffalo could have a couple guys that were questionable that are ready to go, but we'll know a little bit sooner to kickoff. Of course, I know you'll be tweeting out as well. So
yes,
make sure to check out your account and we'll know the updates on that. But, regardless, this is a Bills team that has come through a lot of adversity. And Mitch Morse talked a little bit about that during the week. It's a team that, in his words, they're playing freely. And I feel like this is a perfect way to start our show with from one of the captains.
I think, if anything, we're just a group that's used to playing freely, understanding that if you can do that and not worried about making mistakes, then usually good things happen. And if they don't, then you can lay your head on the pillow and feel like you still left your best foot forward out on the field.
100%, Jackson. I'll turn it to you, for your comments on that. And again, guys, make sure to let us know. We got some cool comments right now. We got to go Bills. We got to go KC.
We got some. We got a little
nobody
bit here in the comment section right now. The rivalry is making its way to the in-depth Bills preview here on News 10 NBC. No, we love it. A little friendly look. It's true. I mean, Matt, you were there when Mitch Morse made those comments here at One Bills Drive. It's the mentality they've maintained. They're trying to stay even keeled. They'll tell you it's one game at a time, one game before the next, crawl before you walk. But, I'd have a hard time believing there isn't some extra juice heading into this one, not just because of what's at stake, but because of who they're playing. The fact that they have not played, at least in the Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes era, a playoff game here, 2 mano-a-mano, Bills-Chiefs at Highmark Stadium. Remember the last time the Chiefs came here was 2020 in the COVID season. So, no fans in the stands. Definitely not the same. It was the regular season. Last time these two teams have, played any meaningful postseason games against each other, it has only been at Arrowhead in front of the Chiefs faithful. You could definitely bet it's a little bit, more desirable for the Bills this time to be playing in front of their home fans, not have to worry about traveling, not having to go on the road, especially on a short week too. So all the better for them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is a unique situation for Buffalo. They really haven't had in the Josh Allen era. Now they get it. And of course, they'd like to be a little bit healthier. But let's not forget that the Chiefs aren't the same Chiefs either. So this really does still seem like an even clash. But I have a feeling Highmark Stadium is going to be rocking. I did a little bit of an angle on that last night. And again, this morning, we had a bunch of sound from the guys throughout the week on how they were looking forward to what it's going to be like at One Bills Drive today, because they just feel like this could be a Bills Mafia we've never seen in a long time, if ever before. They're ready for this one.
All the parking spots when we got here were just about filled up. We, media for reference, just for those who don't know, we park in the field house lot. So that's right across from, the big indoor, practice facility you see right next to the stadium. All those spots were taken when we got here. It is packed, a sea of blue, a sea of white. This fan base is fired up. We saw it on the way in. Matt, you've gone down Big Tree Road here in Orchard Park too. You know how crazy it can get. It's one big darty, really. That's exactly how it feels. It's true. I mean, it feels that way. And you kind of get the sense that there's something special in the air for this game tonight. I saw something from Adam Schefter before, and I think it's really interesting, comparing Mahomes Allen to Brady Manning.
Yes.
In the sense that Peyton Manning lost to Tom Brady in their first 2 playoff games in New England. The third time was in Indianapolis, and that's where Manning broke through. I believe it was 2006. So, who knows if it follows anything like that? Josh Allen and the Bills are hoping they get a win tonight.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it gets pretty crazy at One Bills Drive for any home game during the regular season. Playoff games, it ups the ante. And today, Jackson, I'm sure it is a cool scene there in Western New York. A couple other guys talked throughout the week. Sean McDermott had a little bit to say. I don't know about you, but sometimes Sean can kind of be very blunt with his answers throughout the season. This week, he seemed to be a little bit more, I don't want to say, this is maybe going to come out wrong, not like friendly with the media. He's always friendly, but Sean just seemed to be, just really more with it than usual. I mean, he really had fun with the media this week. You can tell that I think he's enjoying the moment. That's the best way to put it. He's enjoying the moment. He gave us a lot, and then here's one thing he said earlier a couple days ago.
I've been to a couple different places, so you get a chance to compare, and this place is unique from top to bottom. This is a special place to coach. It's a special place to play, and really a special place to live. And I think it doesn't get the credit it deserves from probably the rest of the country, but we'll take it, right? I mean, just when you spend some time in Buffalo and Western New York, you'll learn to appreciate it and love it, quite honestly.
So, Matt, I just got to jump in here. The thing that jumps out to me when I hear that, he said something really interesting. Buffalo doesn't get the respect it deserves throughout the rest of the country. Now, we know Buffalo is a smaller market compared to a lot of the NFL teams, but what that tells me is if he's coming out and saying that, the Bills may be using that as a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, kind of a Buffalo against the world mentality, and light a fire under their bellies in a way. And I think maybe it pays dividends. So I think they're using that, and who knows, that could potentially carry them a little bit.
I think it shows that some people look at Bills Mafia and they're like, oh yeah, those are the guys that jump through the tables. They light things on fire during the, their pregame antics. But I mean, Sean McDermott is from Philly. He's a Philly guy. He, that's a city that people that are from Philly are prideful about that. So the fact that he feels this strongly about Buffalo, he's been here for quite some time now. I think it says a lot more about the people of Western New York, the people of Buffalo as well. I mean, we know what Bills Mafia does. They donate money. They do a great job with so many things. They are not just awesome tailgaters, which is another great part of it. But Sean hit it right on the nail there, and I think they are. I think they're looking at this as an opportunity to say, hey, people still count us out for whatever reason. Let's go show them. Let's beat Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, obviously, if they're going to beat Kansas City, someone else is going to have a big game. That's Josh Allen. It starts with him. It always starts with him. There's a lot of guys. He has Kincaid. He has Diggs. He has James Cook. So many guys can go off on any single day. But Josh is going to have to play his A game in the playoffs. So let's hear from him as far as what worked last time out.
Just the preparation level, seeing things and seeing things clearly. I think the communication that we had up front throughout the game was fantastic with Mitch and the O-line. Receivers and pass catchers knew where they were supposed to be, and just trusted them and put the ball where they could make some plays. We made some really good plays this last game, and there's a few plays that we barely missed and that we're going to need going forward. So we understand that. The tape's never as good, never as bad as you think it's going to be. So a lot to learn from this last game, but feeling good about how well we're playing as a unit right now in terms of communication, energy, and attention to detail.
You score 30 points and you say, yeah, we got to look at the tape. There's stuff we need to work on. That says a lot about the focus where Josh Allen is at this point in his career and this season.
Yeah, I mean, year 7 for him. I mean, it's pretty remarkable when you think about it. Or year 6, I believe.
6.
That, I mean, the maturity he showed is something else. And I mean, I know Deion Dawkins said something really interesting in the week about kind of where Josh's head is at and where the team is when he's in the state of mind that he's been in.
Yep, we'll go to that right now. Here's Deion.
Josh he's different here, man. Mentally, he's there. Whatever it is off the field, I think it is helping him tremendously. Whatever that energy source is that he has off the football field now, it has his best foot forward. Josh comes in the building every day just with a different energy about himself. And I don't know if he's getting anything, whatever it might be. Josh is in a better step when he leaves his house, or whether it's talking to his parents or talking to his girl, whatever that might be, it's putting him in a better spirit, and I love it. But it's flowing over to game days, like in that locker room where we sit at and where Josh sits, it's like an L, right? Like, we sit down and I see Josh. Like, I do the same process every time. I come in, take my stuff off, I sit there, I look around the locker room to see who's here, kind of people's outfits, and then I go about at my thing. And if I'm looking at Josh, and if Josh is sitting there, which he usually is, he's usually on his phone, or he's sitting there just breathing, and I can see oh, something crazy is gonna happen, or he's a little off, but I haven't seen that he's a little off, not once this year. So Josh is in a good spirit when he leaves whatever he's leaving. So
he's about to go off. That's what I got from Deion. It's like you can just tell by looking at Allen, when you're in that locker room, what the day is going to be like.
Yeah, and I feel like, obviously Josh is a guy that he's like, his bad games are still like amazing games for a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL, but you do get the feeling that sometimes he's more locked in than other times. He always seems to rise to the occasion in the playoffs. So I don't know if you got to look at him walking into the stadium at all today. I know you just got there, so obviously probably not. But Allen, it just seems like a game like this is a game where I just feel it. Like, I feel like Josh is going to do something crazy. Like, who knows? Is he going to have another 52-yard rushing touchdown? Is he going to have one of those passes where like only he and Patrick Mahomes can make? That's just kind of what it seems like.
We could see it. He threw for 230 plus yards the last time they met. He had the touchdown. I mean, he completed 23 of his passes. He ran for that touchdown as well, and 32 yards, I think it was. So, I mean, the big games, man. He's shine bright when the lights are brightest.
That's what you want. You want a quarterback that can do that, because otherwise, I mean, no matter who you play in the playoffs, obviously the Chiefs, it's a whole other thing when you're playing a two-time Super Bowl champion winning team like this team with Patrick Mahomes. But no matter what, the lights are brighter in the playoffs. You want a quarterback that can handle that. I know Allen's yet to lead this team all the way to the Super Bowl, and a couple of the other younger QBs have, but I think he's shown time and time again that he knows what it takes to win games. They've made it to the AFC Championship. They've made it to the divisional round a few times now. I don't think it's a question of can Josh win in the playoffs. He can do that. They had the Chiefs beat a few years ago. The defense, unfortunately, let them down with 13 seconds left. So Josh can, he knows what it takes to do it. I think it's more, are the other guys going to step up? And really, I'm worried defensively because, with injuries, that's a concern. How are the Bills going to stop the Chiefs?
Well, Benford's out. You don't know if Bernard's going to play. We'll find that out pretty soon. Probably in about 10 minutes, to be exact. Taylor Rapp is out. Balin Spector's out. They made some practice squad elevations. AJ Klein, who I'm sure every Bills fan would love to see after what he did last week and leading the team with 11 tackles. And how about the fact that he was ready to go on vacation? Just essentially, going out to Key West, packing up the RV, and here he comes, kind of rising from the ashes, so to speak. And he's back on the field. He's playing well. So they're going to need him tonight. I know Gabe Davis hasn't been huge for the Bills this year. He's kind of flashed at moments, but I still think there is something to the idea of him playing in a big game, or you wanting him in a big game. I think he's shown you in the short time he's been in the league that, he rises up in these games. Just take the divisional game against Kansas City as a perfect example. I know he had a touchdown in the Patriot game before that 2 years ago. So, I mean, stopping the Chiefs is one thing. You gotta move the ball too.
Yeah, I mean, guys like, you look at Khalil Shakir, he's had a pretty good second half of the year. You look at Dalton Kincaid, who's arguably right there as option 1B behind option 1A, which is Stephon Diggs. There's guys there. The Chiefs are definitely going to come with a game plan. They'll try to take away someone. Lately, teams have taken away Diggs fairly good. I mean, he's not been shut down all the way to the point where he's only got 20 or 30 yards, but
right.
He's not having these 100 yards, performances like he's used to having. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, we're just going to have to see who steps up, who can help Allen out, because it can't all be Josh. I'm sure someone's going to be it, but, you never know. I mean, one day it's Deontay Hardy. A lot of guys on this Bills team have been able to randomly step up, and who knows who that might be today.
It's true, man. I mean, you think about what we saw from Hardy back in the Dolphin game, the return for the touchdown on the punt. There are so many guys on this team that have the potential to step up. They have depth. We've seen guys emerge this year. I think you got to get Khalil Shakir the ball more. And it's got to be, you got to spread it around. I think the other thing is what Stephon Diggs' foot is going to look like. He was on the injury report. I know he was vet rest throughout the week, but he had a little bit of a foot issue that was bugging him. You wonder if he'll be at 100% tonight. I know they elevated Andy Isabella too from the practice squad. I wouldn't be surprised to see him returning kicks. He's so fast. So, I mean, we'll see how it all shakes out. But, the key is you just can't turn the ball over in these kinds of games because the Chiefs will make you pay rather.
100%. Again, you guys let us know what you think about today's game. We've got a lot of Go Bills comments, but we want to go more in depth. Let us know who you think might have a big game. If you have any questions about, what's been going on throughout the week that we might be able to answer. it's been a bit of a weird week, obviously. For once, we actually weren't up there on Wednesday. That's when the Bills do their normal media availability. We stayed back with the whole snowstorm, but I'm glad that everything kind of worked out for the Bills, because that was another thing. That was a concern. You're on a short week. The snow continues to fall. They were able to get them in the stadium, or I should say in the facility, and that was key, because if they can't do that, then this is another weird week for the Bills. And you're at home. You want things to be as normal as possible, because that's the whole point of being home in the playoffs. So it was good that the Bills were able to do that.
These weeks are so tough for teams, especially in playoff games. But consider this. The Bills went through something very similar last year when they had the game moved to Detroit. And then, of course, the whole Damar Hamlin scare and what just happened from that, and having to play a game a week later against the Patriots here at home. I mean, they've been put through the ringer, man. So as crazy as it might sound, it's nothing new to them, you know?
Yeah, it's a team that over the years, like not just this year, not just when it comes to football, this is like a franchise, guys that have played for this team over the past few years that know how to handle adversity like no other team in the NFL. So it's like being down 3 points in a fourth quarter might be adversity to like one team. To the Bills, that's just like an everyday thing. That's just like, yeah, we're used to this. So let's go handle this. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Something very interesting Joe Brady said, I think we have this sound too, is that remember that 52-yard touchdown run last week against the Steelers? Well, Brady in the headset, I guess, in the moment was screaming for Josh to go down because there were 3 defenders converging around him after he got the first down. Josh didn't, juked one defender out, broke another tackle, and then, he had the untouched path to the end zone. So I was really interested to hear what he had to say this week.
Yeah, we'll bring him up right now. Here's Joe Brady.
Yeah, it was, hey, great play call that, our guys are gloved right now and Josh is having to run. But that's who he is, right? He's a human eraser. He makes bad plays, bad play calls. He makes them work. And, I'd love for in that situation, I'm sure there's going to come a time, whether it's this week or in the next however many years here, that all the times that I'm telling him that, hey, look, man, there's 3 guys around you. It's the NFL. Just go down. You're not going to be able to do it. Well, he just proved me wrong. And so it'll probably set you back a little bit. But, he's such a dynamic football player that, I think when you try to hold Josh Allen back, you're probably doing a disservice. So
when you hold Josh Allen back, you're doing a disservice.
100%. I know I disagree with a lot of people on this, but I'll take the interception. I'll take the pick if that means that he's throwing 3 or 4 touchdowns in a game, because if you're holding him back to the point where he's not taking risks, then you are limiting him. Now, again, there needs to be a healthy balance. This has been the conversation over the past 3 years. You can't just have him go play Madden out there, right? I've tried it. I'm not having my best season with Josh Allen in Madden this year. I mentioned this to you. I might need to restart my season so I don't ruin his stats completely. But you need to be able to have that balance. But at the same time, I'm cool. If he throws a pick, so be it, because probably the next time down he's going to thread in a pass that no one else can make, and you're going to be looking at him and say, wow, this quarterback is something else. So where that balance is, I'm not sure, but the Bills seem to have found it in the past 2 months or so.
You can't succeed if you're afraid to fail. And that's exactly what you got to do. And I think it's important for Josh to – you remember earlier in the year, you talked about the low positive mindset, and it just felt watching him that he was being restricted. He was being held back, and it wasn't the Josh Allen we were used to seeing. Now, you don't want him to go out there and be necessarily happy-go-lucky and be, a little too careless with the ball. But like you just said, and you said it perfectly, you definitely want to find that balance, and you want to let him play freely to a point, where he can be spontaneous. He can, he can make the impossible happen.
I want the Josh Allen that ran into, I forget who it was against, but he ran in for the touchdown and he laughed at the defender as he crossed in, and he got the flag thrown on him, but that's another story and another topic. But that's the Josh Allen I want, the one that's just having fun out there on the field.
That was in Cincinnati. I remember that because there was a whole being there. There was some confusion as we were all watching that, and then only then and there when we saw Josh and others converging around the ref, did it kind of become clear that they were gonna penalize Josh, and that's just what they did. I mean, Matt, small sample size for Joe Brady, but seems like just people comment, people let us know, and others seem to share that belief. They want to keep Joe Brady, and it's no surprise why he was interviewing for the Falcons head coaching job seemingly the other day. But if I'm Buffalo, roll with them, man. I mean, they've looked rejuvenated. They look like they're getting much more creative on offense. They're mixing up some different concepts. That's just where you want to be right now heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, you need to.
Rather. So.
You need to. Like, Cook hasn't had that 100-yard rushing game since the Cowboys, but he's been doing what he needs to do. It'd be cool if he, put together like a 90-yard game or something. That'd be big. But Chiefs have a good interior line. They've got Chris Jones, one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. It's going to be difficult. There's going to be pressure on Allen. As we wind this down, we've been taking your comments. We haven't had too many questions. A lot of people saying go Bills. We have to keep Joe Brady, things like that. I want to hear some predictions. Like, who's a player that you think needs to step up? Give me a score prediction. Let's hear some stuff like that. Jax, I know we already talked about that a little bit, but I do think this will be another close game. Now, one of my buddies that has his own show, he made the comment that, this is still Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, but this might be settled on the defensive side. I want to hear what you think about that. I'm not sure if I agree or disagree with that. I still think there's going to be offense. I still see the winner getting into the 30s.
I agree. At the same time, defense really does matter at this point in the year. And I think it is going to, come down to who makes one more play at the end of the day. Because both of these teams are going to make plays. They're both going to score. They're both going to stop each other. The Chiefs have one of the better defenses in the league. One of the better defenses they've had in the last few years, at least. And it always seems they were offensively driven. And of course, anytime you have Patrick Mahomes, you are. But they have a better defense now. It seems like the thing that has held them back at times has been, the unreliability of their receivers. So I think it's going to be critical for Buffalo to, again, be forcing Patrick Mahomes tight into the pocket, collapsing that pocket, getting him uncomfortable, forcing him to make some throws, or, if you're on Buffalo's or if you're on Kansas City side, I think same deal for Josh Allen. It's really going to come down to that. How many guys do you send? How many guys do you drop back? What kind of formations, coverages are you deploying out there? And I think what it really is going to come down to at the end of the day, beyond that, is who makes the clutch play in the end. Because I have it being a close game. I have the Bills winning by 3, but I don't have it being a terribly high score. But who knows? I mean, remember the last time they played each other, it was 20-17 in the end.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to come down to no turnovers as well.
Yep.
I'd say like 1, especially from Allen. If he throws 1 pick, not the end of the world. If he fumbles a football, not the end of the world. Again, also, like, that's kind of a whole convoluted thing, too. Like, if he's throwing a pick on 3rd and long and you're going to be punting it anyways and it's a long pass, like, I get the whole momentum comment, but that's not as big as if Josh Allen decides to take off for a rush, maybe takes a hit, coughs it up, and they were in the red zone where they were going to get points anyways. That's a bad turnover. Like, there is a difference there.
Yep.
They need to make sure they don't have any bad turnovers because the Chiefs will capitalize.
They will. And again, we're closing in an hour and a half from kickoff, and I think it's really going to be interesting to see, who is who's going for Buffalo, who's not going. The inactive should be released any second.
True. And obviously, again, guys that are still here listening, watching us, make sure to, follow Jackson's tweets throughout the game. He'll be talking about the game. He'll be going in depth. I'm sure you'll have something about that as well, as we're still waiting to hear on a few key players. We didn't really get many more predictions from anyone. So I guess, do you even have a pick? Like, I don't even know if I want to give a game pick to this. I kind of just want to watch it and see what happens.
Well, I mean, only because I'm thinking about it in my head of what might be. I had it being 24-21 Bills, but, it'll probably be wrong. My predictions are never right.
Yeah. I feel like it'll be I went a little higher. I went like 35-28. I think there's going to be some scoring in this one with the Bills' defense being a little bit depleted. I think that Kansas City might move the ball well, and I think that Buffalo will move it well regardless, because they did against the Steelers. I mean, if the Steelers would have been in that game more, Buffalo would have went more – like, they tried to run the clock down a little bit as we went down in that game, and they still put up 30 points. So I think the Bills will score, and I'll leave it at that. But, again, obviously should be a good game, and thank you guys for tuning in. We'll hopefully – have some good news later in the 11. No 6 o'clock show today on News 10 NBC, so you'll hear from us after the game. You'll hear from a lot of the guys. Hopefully this one doesn't go into overtime like the last edition, and Jackson and I will break it down for you. So we'll talk to you next time, and I never say it, but I feel like I have to at this point. Go Bills.